In Good Girl News,
No such thing.
Yeah.
submitted by Yasmin.
Yasmin.
A Colombian drug dog has been moved to a new location to ensure her safety from local gangs. Oh man.
Like a literal dog?
They put a hit out on a dog.
Put a hit out on a dog.
Not Fido.
So that drug dog's been catching all the bad guys, so they're like, fuck that dog, I'm gonna kill him. Or kill her.
She has found almost 10 tons of cocaine.
Accumulated or at one time?
I mean, what did they do? They took the dog, they put it to another state, and they painted the coat white. What did you
It's under fucking, what do you
put a
call
little
it?
mustache on the fucking German Shepherd?
Witness protection?
Witness protection for dogs. It's adopted by another family. They painted it. It's like, that's not the same dog.
Yeah,
By the way, that dog is a cokehead. That's how it knows. It's like jonesing for coke. That's how it smells. Like,
Is that how they train the
some
dog?
coke over there, dude. Let's get some coke. That's why like what they do with the dogs is they get them addicted to it, so they sniff it. So when they find it, they give them a rag that has like whatever they're jonesing for, and they get to sniff it.
That's fucked up,
Yeah, they
dude.
get addicted the same way humans do?
Yeah. They get them hooked on that smack.
I thought they just put like snacks and things next to Coke, and then they just remember if they find a Coke, they get a treat.
Yeah, I'm not sure how they do it for drugs, but when I was truffle hunting with these little dogs, they actually treat them to truffles, and they're
So they like
obsessed with truffles.
Yeah.
And that's how they find the truffles.
They don't give them a truffle and a treat, so they know
Yeah,
it's a truffle. Oh, so it's still the treat though. The treat is the positive reinforcement.
Well, yeah, but they also get fed the truffles themselves.
That's fucking wild. They just got fed fucking $4,000.
So
Here's $4,000, dog. Like, god damn.
when you went truffle hunting, the dog doesn't just end up eating all the fucking truffles.
It does. So she has to stop them before they destroy the truffle.
Is it really truffle hunting if it can't run, or is it just truffle finding?
Truffle finding.
Locating. Truffle locating.
Truffle scavenging. Or
You find truffle, you just fucking blast it.
that would be
They're
funny.
inside the soil, so you have to dig for it.
Yeah, but it's not running from you. Like, I see it's going. It's not like a fox.
So some of the truffles that we eat has dog fucking mouth and slobber in it.
No, I mean, they clean them.
But it was in that mouth that they had to fucking wedge out.
They don't
like
take
it
it out
now?
of the mouth.
You see them dig for it, and then they
Yeah,
pull the dog
exactly.
away, and then they dig it themselves.
Thank you. Yeah, like that.
There's a fish in Japan that these fishermen, they train these birds, and then they fucking have a little rope around their neck so they don't swallow the fish, and then they go dive and they get all the fish, and then they make them barf it out, and then people eat that fish.
No way.
Yeah.
That's so much work. Fuck that.
That's their fishing pole though. They train the birds to just go and grab all the fishes up, and then they come over and they fucking they throw them out again. And then finally they undo the rope and they let them actually catch a fish.
There's weird shit like that in nature. Like, there's this, like, bacteria that, like, gets into, like, a bug, right? And then it takes over the bug. The bug climbs up all the way to the top of the thing, and then it explodes, and that's how it spreads its seed all over the place. It's like, how crazy is that?
There's like a symbiotic, like, virus that does that to slugs or snails, too.
And there's also, like, mice does that. It will take over the mouse's head and make the mouse
Or like controls it from the brain.
Yeah, and run into cats, and the cats eat it, and it's like how it spreads its whole thing.
God damn.
Like Pickle Rick, man.
That's the dark arts right there.
Every time I see a Coke bust, I go, man, the price of Coke just went up. And then you're like, fuck, man, damn it. Not that I do Coke anymore, but, you know, it's just,
But it is ruining the economy.
Now it's gonna be more expensive.
and you know the cops are just taking the Coke, doing some, and selling it to their friends.
Really?
Cops
You
get the
think they
best
do?
Coke, man. They get the best Coke.
I bet.
And moving right along.
This is Sombra.
Oh, it's just cute.
I don't even see where her face is in this angle. Oh, there it is.
That looks like a mutt.
So she's a German Shepherd.
That looks like a weird German Shepherd.
She has a $70,000 bounty on her.
Oh, damn.
And now we just spread that message.
You know what I
Well, she is very famous.
We're gonna spread the protection of her.
Okay, good.
I would just get a dead German Shepherd from a shelter that they.
Oh, yeah.
That they.
Euthanized?
Yeah, so euthanize.
Until you see the dog, and then they're like, oh, fuck, that dude just jacked us for $70K. And now there's an $80K
Yeah.
bounty on you.
He'll get plastic surgery.
Yeah, so she's 6 years old.
Fuck.
She has sniffed out tons and tons of cocaine
Is this
in Colombia.
Damn, Colombia, man. You know what's sad is some of these countries, they don't have anything but that as their major export, and so many people rely on it that there's just this huge dependency, and it's like, how do they leave that drug trade?
The drug war is just simply a war on poor people.
Yeah.
And, like, the CIA smuggles all the drugs in. I mean, Pablo Escobar, his son was like, my dad worked with the CIA. They smuggle it all in. They're smuggling in heroin right now.
Yeah.
They smuggled into cocaine. They always do that. And then they're the ones who outlaw it so they can fill the privatized prisons up.
And no one gets too much power because once they do, they just replace.
They whack them out and they get a
Yeah.
new guy up.
Yeah.
They create the monsters so they can fight the monsters.
One of the conspiracies out there was the war on Afghanistan was because during the Taliban's rule, they really decreased the number of opium production. And then we went back in there for terrorism, but we're in the opium trade.
Yeah.
And so there's a lot of stories of soldiers coming back and saying, you know what we did is we were just protecting opium fields or something. For some reason, we were just, patrolling around there.
Well, pharmaceuticals use it for Oxycontin and stuff
Yeah.
like that, but then they flood the market to get everybody hooked and depressed and all that. It's like dark art shit.
That's some dark arts, man. That's true, because I'm like, wait, where do the opioids come from, and where are? So is it Afghanistan? They produce it there. Okay, because I thought it was a heroin problem, but damn, that's
No, it is a heroin problem because what happens is they can't afford prescription medication anymore. And actually, a giant pharmaceutical CEO just got arrested for basically bribing doctors to overprescribe medication.
So the game is get them hooked on opioids and then cut them off, and then they go to the streets to try and get some hair on.
When it went on with the 80s crack epidemic, which was systematic, which was like flood the ghettos with crack, pull out the jobs, then you throw all the males in jail, and it just disintegrates everything.
That was the Noriega scandal, right?
Yeah, the Iran-Contra affair.
Iran-Contra, yeah.
So that's what's being done right now with heroin.
So this is a conspiracy that actually became true, and there's files on it, and it's called the Iran-Contra scandal. For those of you guys who don't know, what ended up happening was the U.S. government allowed the drug crack epidemic to happen in the ghettos because they said, well, they're like poor and whatever, they can die off, it doesn't matter. They were using that money through the drug trade to fund these guerrillas in, was it Panama or what?
Rebels, yeah.
Rebels to fund their war. So we wanted
Contras.
American dictator so we could control them. I don't know if it was for the banana trade or something. There was something going on where we wanted our dictator to be in power so we keep control of that. And what was it with the Iran thing? There was a reason why Iran was also involved. It might be oil or something like that, but there was all this shit going on with the CIA, and that's when Freeway Rick Ross was really big, and he had free reign to do all that, drug dealing, and it was thanks to the CIA.
And now there's something that they believe Obama had a scandal that's kind of slowly coming out called the Obama-Contra scandal. It's basically that the DEA was finding out that Hezbollah was selling drugs in America, and Obama pulled the DEA off from investigating it. And that's like a lot. Yeah. So what happens is like these foreign entities get into the drug game here and make money to fund their military exercises through the drug money.
Damn.
And how does that benefit the U.S.?
It's a way for them to fund proxy wars, basically, where they can't officially be involved in it. So they fund these like side armies to do a lot of their bidding. We see that happen a lot.
So basically, we have a lot of soldiers in many, many different countries that we're not supposed to be in officially. So they have like fake passports and all that stuff. We have friends actually where their parents are that exactly for many, many years in Latin America, fighting wars, training guerrilla soldiers, all that stuff in the drug war or just like guerrilla warfare for politics or whatever the reason. But in most cases, it's to protect our business interests or to get inside and set up our own corporations or have cooperative countries that we can exploit. So whether it's having our companies going and doing the farming there or controlling the resources there, but there's just so much shit that's going on in the global scale that we don't know like any of that stuff as regular citizens, but it happens and that's how we stay number one.
We like to destabilize people, and then The real money's in what we call God, guns, oil, and drugs. Okay.
Yeah.
So we make money selling the drugs, and we make money selling them the arms, and then we come in and we take out all their natural resource. Happens all the fucking time, man.
Yeah, there's a book called Tales of an Economic Hitman,
Yeah.
I believe. But basically his job was to destabilize economies in third world countries and keep them in heavy debt so they could never repay back.
Was he like in the CIA or something?
I think man,
Yeah.
I don't
Like a
remember. I don't know if
agency?
he was government or he was private, but the government wants layers of protection. So they'll hire third party and different groups to do certain things. Kind of like how in the past they used the military, but now they use contractors.
Yeah,
Like,
Blackwater,
yeah.
DynCorp.
Right, to do all the dirty work because they're not responsible under US law. They're private companies. So there's all this shit that happens outside globally where we're fucking up.
It's crazy.
Yeah, that went deep from the drug shit, but it's pretty dope.
Dope.
But yeah, so
No pun intended.
Yeah.
yeah, so now they're just trying to protect Sombra and make sure that she can still keep doing her work and not get.
We should legalize drugs, man. We should decriminalize, legalize drugs. There's no reason someone goes to jail for doing drugs. It's the most ridiculous thing. Prostitution, same way. What's more capitalist than prostitution? Supply and demand, and they're just poor people crimes.
Yep.
Fill privatized jails up, man. If I have a drug problem, how does me going to jail help that?
Nothing.
I have a drug problem. I quit doing drugs, man. But if you throw me in jail, I get a felony. It's so hard for me to rebound from that in my
How are
life.
you gonna get a job?
Yeah.
How's anyone gonna feel like you can be trusted, you can work, you're a legitimate person? If they see one strike, they go, I don't want to take my chances.
Yep. It makes it infinitely harder. So I have this whole theory that's why women get less time for jail because they have a certain amount of time that they can have children. So what's the best way? You throw a felony on her, you put her in for, like, the guy's doing 50, she's doing 5. She gets out in time. Now she's a felon and she's having kids. It's going to be really hard for her to support herself. And now you got kids born into the world with 2 strikes against them. And it's just this vicious cycle to fill up all the jails, man.
And then they're trapped in the welfare system.
Yep.
And then the boys get in the privatized jail system. Oh, fuck, I see the connection. That's fucked up.